that the Taliban abide by a number of important aspects, be it related to human rights and the rights of women and girls in particular, be it in relation to the questions of terrorism, be it... So there are a number, the inclusivity of the government. It's a second aspect. The third is the following. Independently of those measures, there are forms to inject cash inside the economy through different entities, through NGOs, through UN agencies, to allow for the people to receive assistance. And this is what we have been asking. We need to find ways, respecting international law, as I met it, respecting principles, as I said. We need to find ways to inject liquidity in the economy for the economy not to collapse and the people not to suffer tremendously. So there are different aspects that need to be treated differently. And obviously, for me, as I said, personally, because this is a question that is very important for me personally, the question of women and girls is particularly relevant.
James Bays. James Bays, Al Jazeera. As you know, the G20 leaders are about to meet on this issue. Have the G20 so far been too hesitant, and how urgent is it that they take action now?
I think that there has been a slow reaction of the international community in relation to what is a very complex problem. But I believe that there is a consensus in the international community about humanitarian aid, and I believe the UN is leading this process and, as you've seen, is doing a huge effort now. There is another question that is more complex, which is related to avoid the collapse of the economy. In relation to that, things have been slow. And then there is a more complex problem, which is the problem of a discussion about the future of Afghanistan and how Afghanistan relates to the international community, but that will be a lengthy, complex process. But in relation to the injection of liquidity in the Afghan economy, I think the international community is moving too slow.
Time for CBS.
Thank you, Secretary General. A follow-up on the liquidity question. That would imply, to some extent, the IMF and the World Bank. How do you inject this liquidity if the world doesn't recognize the Taliban? And since you said some of this is personal to you, do you suggest the countries now recognize the Taliban diplomatically, since, as you said, they are in charge? Thank you.
No, the two things are completely different. The World Bank can create a trust fund, and that trust fund can pay directly to people in need. UNDP has a trust fund that can pay directly to people in need or to organizations in need. So we need to inject cash in the economy. I'm not saying that I'm asking the international community to give money to the Taliban or to the present authorities. No, we need to inject cash in the economy. We need to make the economy breathe. We need to allow people to survive. That is our concern. The questions of recognition and the questions of dealing with government are totally different and can be dealt with, of course, through the principles of international law and other principles. What I'm talking now is to find instruments to inject liquidity in the economy, in the people, to benefit the people. And there are many non-governmental organizations operating, as you know, in Afghanistan.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary General. You have expressed concern about Taliban not keeping their promises to protect the rights of women and girls. We did not see that happening in the past. We're not seeing it happening now. Does the UN have a plan to make sure that Taliban will keep up to their promises?
I can tell you one thing. This is a matter in which we are engaging the Taliban every single day. Results are slow, but I'll give you an example. We want our female staff to have full and unimpeded work in relation to humanitarian aid. Now, we have been engaging the Taliban province by province, day by day, and the result of that effort in the months of September is the following. We managed to reach full agreement with the Taliban on this freedom in 6 provinces against 3 in the beginning of the month. We have partial agreement in 20 instead of 16 in the beginning of the month. We had no agreement in 4 against 6 in the beginning of the month. And there are 4 in which we have not yet had the possibility to engage against 8 in the beginning of the month. This is daily work, area by area, fighting for the rights of each woman, sometimes one by one. But this is our engagement to our staff and to the women and girls of Afghanistan in general. Engagement is not proclamation. Engagement is daily work. We might have difficulties. We might fail here and there. But one thing I can promise, we will not give up.
Majid Ghali, Ruda Media Network. Thank you so much. Thank you, Secretary General. This is Majid Ghali, Ruda Media Network. I want to take this opportunity to ask you about another issue, which is a big day in Iraq today.